I'm just playing with the buttons, if anybody's, just so you know. We're going to get started. So I just wanted to make sure I was live and everything was good. So we will get started. Welcome. We're going to do some pickling today, and go ahead and join me, and I will have, oh, I forgot to grab the recipe, so I will be right back. Okay, I just have a basic pickling recipe, and you can use this. I will leave this in the description box, and I'm going to do it my way. You can get creative to add whatever suits your needs and what you need and want for your jars. So we're going to make a rainbow salad pickling jar. So we're going to have some fun. Okay. I'm just going to stick you guys over here. So I have all the ingredients that you're going to need. You need 1 medium carrot peeled, cut into coins or matchsticks, 1/4 head cauliflower cut into small florets, 1/2 large red onion thinly sliced, 1 medium pickling cucumber peeled, cut into coins or thinly sliced, 3 to 4 jalapenos, trims, seeds removed if very hot, and sliced. 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, smashed and sliced. 2 tablespoons of peppercorns, that's optional. 2 tablespoons whole mustard seeds, that's also optional. So welcome in. Thank you. It looks like there is 9 people here from what I can see. So we're going to need 1 cup white distilled vinegar, which I'm going to use pickling and canning vinegar is what I'm going to use. This is just a generic recipe, but I'm going to put my recipe and the changes I made. So you can make it how I make it, or you can make it your own. And then we're going to do some apple cider vinegar with the mother. And some Celtic salt for our salt. And we do need sugar. I forgot to get the sugar down, but I can do that. We are going to pickle some vegetables. So this is a really good recipe when you're on a diet and you're trying to eat healthy. I have learned I had to change everything about the way I was living so I could be more healthy. And this is just something that along my journey, I found that really how I was nurturing myself from the inside out. So that was kind of my journey with food. And so I'm just sharing some changes that I have made that have affected my life in a beneficial way. And if it helps you guys, that's amazing. Yeah, you can use, it says you can use all these vegetables, but we're going to make a rainbow vegetable. So hold on. I don't think you guys want to go with me when I open up the fridge. I got to get all our stuff out. I pre-chopped everything to make this easy as possible. So I have all of this chopped. I'm just going to grab it out of my fridge. And it says use a 32-ounce jar. I'm going to use 2 of these, and these are 24 ounces. So I'm going to do 2 of these. You can use whatever jars you want. Just make it to what you think that you would personally eat. And when you're changing your diet too, you have to make slow changes sometimes with certain things, because like when I started doing this, it just kind of took a minute for my body to adjust to eating much more healthy. Well, we're going to do the ratio from this, and then we're going to put it into our jars, okay? You can do it however you want. Like I said, I'm going to share the recipe that I have right here, which is the exact ratio, and you can do it however you choose to do it. Okay. I like I said, we're going to take our 2 jars that I have. Hello, welcome in. Glad you could be here. I hope you enjoy and you get something out of this or learn something. So we're going to make sure I pre-washed this. I cleaned off all my counter space, and then I chopped up my vegetables. So you're going to want to take those steps first before you even want to do this. So I've got all my well, we're actually making pickled vegetables. So we are doing a little bit of cooking, but it's basically just to put the salt, the sugar, and all those things, and you put all that into a pan with your vinegar and everything, and you mix it until the salt and the sugar is dissolved, and then we can pour it into our jars on top of our veggies. So we're gonna stuff these full of veggies right now, and that's what we're gonna do. So, like I said, I pre-chopped everything up, so this would be easy. So I decided for this, for me, what I wanted in my jars is I was going to do some cabbage slices. So I'm just going to slowly put in some of the cabbage. And like I said, make this your own. This is for your health, what your needs are. You can always look up and ask what vegetables or what fruits and how they benefit you. I know cabbage is extremely healthy, and I'm only going to use a little bit of cabbage because it is so hearty. But this is meant to be filling and healthy at the same time because it's actually giving you the nutrients that your body needs. Okay, and I cut up 4 jalapenos, and I did a mix of these light green ones and jalapenos like this. So I just removed most of the middle in these. I left some of them because I like my stuff hot. I like it a little spicy. And then I chopped up the 2 carrots into about, they're like 1/4 of an inch. I'm gonna see. Okay. It's giving me, I had to approve. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So we're gonna stick our veggies in here, and then I want to throw some cauliflower because I want to really mix it up. And I'll show you what it looks like once I get all the veggies into the jar. So it's gonna take me a second. Do you guys have any special plans for the weekend? Anything fun that you're doing or cooking? Okay. I'm just going to break these cauliflowers up because they're a little big. Okay. We want to leave enough room that we can put the brine in that in here. And we'll go over that. Just want to show you what I'm doing. Hold on. I'll put some more of this in there. Like I said, mix it up. Make it your own. Make it fun. Make food fun. Honestly, food doesn't, just because it's healthy, it doesn't mean it has to taste bad. That sounds fun. That sounds really good actually. It's getting hot here and I kind of want to go to the pool. You guys are silly. Okay. I'll show you what I do. I'm kind of talking about. See how I've been layering that in here? I also have my dill. I decided I pulled some dill from my garden, and we have onions here too. So we're going to put some of these onions in here. Red onions are actually really, really good for you. And we need to grab the garlic as well. Okay. I'm going to throw my dill in here. Because these are what is known as quick pickling, is the term, if you're wanting to look it up and looking how to do this for yourself. Just going to throw my pickle in here, my dill in here from the garden. And then I'm going to throw in here, this is just what I'm doing. The recipe doesn't, this general recipe doesn't call for it. I'm going to throw 2 bay leaves to help preserve my pickles. Okay. And then I'm going to put 2 tablespoons. I'm going to put 1 in each jar, basically, like 1.5. I'm going to put my peppercorns in there. I'm honestly going to probably have to make another jar of this. I might do one without onions, so we can share with the family. I also chopped up a bunch of celery to throw in here. Celery is really good for you too. Okay. I'm definitely going to have to make another jar. I think I packed these really full. Okay. And as you can see, all the colors. These are really good to throw on salads too, and you can just throw a vinaigrette on top of it, or you can have it as a side dish. It's really good. Okay, we need the garlic, so I'm going to grab that. So I'm going to grab 4 pieces, I think it says 4 pieces of garlic, 3 cloves of garlic, but I'm going to grab 2 for each one, which is nice. These have antimicrobial properties too, just like the onions alone and the peppers, and this has antimicrobial properties, which helps also speed up digestion, and it helps, I can't remember what else it helps with, but I love it. I know I found that it's really helped for me. Is just choosing if I pre-prep some of my food and I have pre-prepped healthy snacks, I've noticed that it makes it a lot easier, because most people are going to go for what's easy. So if you pre-prep certain things, I think this will probably last me like 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks, it'll probably last me about 8 weeks. And that's why I'm doing 2 separate jars, because if you leave one sealed, they're good for about 4 to 6 weeks. You get a little bit longer if you leave one sealed. And that's why I'm doing 2 different jars. So we are going to cut up our garlic. Well, we're not going to cut it up. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to just cut these hard ends off, so we can peel the garlic. And then I'm going to show you what you're going to do. Because it says peeled, cut, and smashed. So with garlic, if you let it, it's probably going to be something I'm going to add before I put the brine in it, because I want it to sit for about 15 minutes so the garlic can breathe. Okay. Just a nice quiet night. I've got to work early tomorrow. Okay. I'm just trying to peel this, and garlic is so stubborn to peel. I remember when I was making fermented honey with garlic, and I peeled so much garlic that my fingers were just so sticky from all the garlic I couldn't even peel it by the end. Okay. Finally getting this peeled. That's fine. You can go be weird somewhere else. I don't put up with anything like that, so I will block you so quick. I'm here doing something for fun that I enjoy doing, so if you don't like it, you just go somewhere else. This is meant to be fun and a safe space for everybody. So now that I've got the garlic all peeled, I'm not going to fully cut into it. I'm only going to cut about to right here. So I'm going to go down, and then I'm going to go the other way a little bit, and then I'm going to smash it with my knife. Because I want this garlic to breathe to get the most flavor out of it. Okay. I'll use pretty big cloves of garlic here, so, because I'm only putting 2 in each jar. Sorry, as soon as I can get to the brine, then I can look at the chat a little more. Okay. I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna smash it with my knife. Kind of be careful, watch your fingers. Do you use the knife this way down so you're not slicing your fingers off? Okay, we got all the garlic peeled, and that's all sliced up. Excuse me. Okay, now I'm going to take these 2 jars. I'm going to set those aside. I'm going to take all the leftover veggies, and I'm going to put them in this other thing. And I can use them for something else, or I can make another jar if I so choose to do. Clean up the mess I made all over. Okay. We'll put these back in the fridge because we're not going to use them. All right, now we're going to grab like a medium-sized saucepan to do our brine. You'll need a measuring cup for this. Your vinegar, your apple cider vinegar, and your mustard seeds. Let's see. I'm going to actually add those now. So we're just going to add the mustard seed right into our jar. Okay. 2 teaspoons. So I have a teaspoon right here. And we're going to put 1 in each of these jars. I can't believe how hard it was to find mustard seed. I actually was looking all over. Okay. I am going to grab this jar. These are nice. You can just put it right on top of the mason jar. That way you're not spilling all over. I'm going to take one and put it in there, and one and put it in this jar. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to set these aside. Okay. Now I am going to grab our measuring cup, and we need to take 1 cup white distilled vinegar, which I'm going to use the pickling vinegar. I'm going to use 1 cup of this. I'm going to put that in our saucepan. Now we're going to take 1/4 cup of the apple cider vinegar with the mother. And a good way to do that is always put it at your eye levels, just make sure it's even. And pour that in our pan. Okay. Then you are going to take 1 1/4 cup water. So I'm going to get some. Got to go grab the water out of the garage. All right. I'm going to use 1 1/4 cup of water, and I'm going to use spring water. Check, make sure I got that even where I need it. I'm going to turn on this saucepan so we can start putting the salt and the sugar inside now. Okay, you're going to take 2 teaspoons of sea salt and 1 tablespoon of sugar and put it into our water, our vinegar, all, and mix it all together. Sugar. Okay. We need 2 teaspoons of sea salt. Use the Celtic sea salt. Just add that to our water. I usually give these 48 hours. It says 24, but I do. And if you have to watch your sodium, just put less. Or you don't even have to add it. Sometimes I don't even add it. I just like the tanginess of the vinegar. Okay. And then we're going to put, you need a tablespoon for this. So let me grab my tablespoon. Okay. Let's see my... I'll just use an actual tablespoon then. Alright. We'll add that to our mix. I'm just going to let that stir in. Okay. You can use fine 132-ounce glass jar or 2 pint jars with lid. Pour a splash of white vinegar inside, and you can screw on the lid and shake for a few seconds and let it stand about a minute. And that's just an extra step you can take to ensure that your jars are clean. Okay. Wash and press the vegetables. Fill the jars with veggies and the flavorings that you're wanting to use in your pickled vegetables. So you can combine the vinegar, the water, the salt, the sugar in a small saucepan over medium-high heat and bring the mixture to a boil. Just is enough to dissolve the salt and the sugar, like I said. So I'm just going to kind of let that heat up. And now that we've let that garlic sit for a little bit, we can add it if we really want to, but like I said, I'm not going to add it. That's going to be the last thing that I add. I'm just going to chop it up a little bit more finely. Okay. And as you're going, the nice thing to do is just like clean up as you go. Then you have way less of a mess you have to clean up after you're done making whatever you decide to make. Okay. You just set this garlic over here. And there's so many videos out there that can teach you how to do this. So I'm grateful for people who did decide to stop in and who will do this. I just find that I have learned through something that my journey with food and, like I said, how to nurture myself and what nutrition is and the benefit of taking care of our bodies and how we eat and what we consume, not just physically, but what we're consuming with our eyes and what we're taking in spiritually, mentally, physically, can take a toll on us. So it's just a way of reprogramming ourselves to do things that are nurturing to our soul instead of draining and taking from us. I'm just cleaning up all the pepper seeds and the onions. I got it everywhere. So we're just waiting for this to come to a boil. Like I said, it's medium heat. I put it on a 4 on mine, but that's probably medium low or whatever. It says medium high heat, which I should probably turn it up just a touch then. You want to make sure you get all the sugar and
everything blended, which is starting to... Okay. And like I said, these are really nice. I got one of these because then even when we're putting all of our stuff in there and all our water, or I mean our brine solution, I don't have to worry about it getting everywhere. I usually slop stuff everywhere, so this makes stuff much easier when I'm using a mason jar. Just checking to see on the sugar and the salt if that's dissolving. It seems to be getting clearer as it dissolves. But when you use the apple cider vinegar, I think it makes it a little different in color because it has some other in it. Which just is fermented apple cider vinegar. It's a fermented food that's got a lot to ferment, and that's why it's so healthy. It's supposed to help with your heart and your gut. Some people can't do it. I can do it if it's in foods. But if I just try to drink a shot of apple cider vinegar, I get the worst heartburn ever. So I started doing the ginger lemon in the morning instead to get my gut going. Okay, we are almost where it's going to start boiling. Yay! Okay, we're going to take, since that's almost done boiling, we're going to take our garlic and put some of our garlic in here. I'm just going to shove it in the top. Oops. Set that over here. This is a big chunk of garlic. So now we got our 2 jars completely filled with all of our stuff. I can remove all this stuff and utilize this space now that I don't have the cutting cord. I'm just gonna put stuff away as I go. That way my cleanup is pretty easy. So if you pre-prep everything and chop everything before you get ready to do this, and then you clean up that mess and then you clean up as you go, I swear it just makes everything so much easier. This is about what it's looking like right now off the screen. This is kind of what our brine is kind of looking like, and we just want it to come to a boil, and then we will remove it and then put our jars. And you want to make sure that after you put the brine in here that you leave it unsealed and let it completely cool down to room temperature before you seal it, because we don't want a jar exploding. You guys are all having a good night or a good day wherever you are. Like I said, as this has been warming, I'll show you again. It's getting a little clearer looking. It's not as murky looking because of the salt and the sugar have begun to absorb into the water and the vinegar. And you make sure you bring it just to a boil. Once it starts boiling, you're going to pull it off. And I'm going to put it inside my measuring cup. And then I'm going to pour it into my jars. And then I will proceed to put it over on the counter and let it sit. And after it is cooled down to room temperature, honestly, if you just give it a couple hours, it should cool down to room temperature. You can put the lid on and then you can throw it in your fridge. And like I said, it has about 4 to 6 weeks. And I chose to do 2 jars because then I could keep one sealed and I can eat that one later. Sorry, I don't want to sneeze. This time of year, my allergies start to get to me. Hasn't been too bad this year. Since I started consuming local honey, it's actually helped with my allergies quite a bit. Okay, this is starting to boil or bubble. Almost where we want to be. I'm going to put these somewhere because I'm not going to be able to move them. So I'm going to put these somewhere where I can leave them for the next few hours. Okay, this is starting to boil. So we're going to take it off and turn that off. I'm going to pour it back into our measuring cup. As you can see, now we have it in our measuring cup. I'm going to bring you guys over here. And as you can see, I got my 2 jars right there. I'm going to take my funnel, my counting funnel, and I'm going to pour the brine in there. I'm trying not to make a mess, even though it's still doing that. Alright. And that's how we make pickled vegetables. So I'm going to let this sit. I'm going to let it cool down, and then I'm going to put my top on in about 2 hours after it's cooled completely. And then after 48 hours, you should have pickled vegetables. Do it to your desired taste. You could wait 24 hours, but I like to wait 48 hours because then it can fully all develop that taste palette. Do it to your taste. And as it stands longer, it gets more tangy. So I hope you enjoy this recipe, and let me know if you try it. Have a good one.